What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Manic Mind mini podcast. Brick just walked into the room. So I recorded a podcast yesterday. It was Thursday, the 11th. Wasn't able to fully edit it, so I figured I would put out one of these and talk about one of the things I actually talked about in the podcast, but a little bit more in depth. So one of the things that I talked about was a weight loss journey that I'm going on. I, over the years, probably the past 3 years, got fat as fuck. I went from being 200 lean motherfucker to 250 pounds. Now, that is accredited to bad eating habits, dependency on sleeping medications like Ambien. And if you guys don't know, Ambien makes you hungry as shit. And it's just a bad time, you know? And I blew up. I went from this skinny kid who loved working out to this fat piece of shit who hated everything. And it's taken me until I'm 25 now. It's taken me three or 4 years to really realize, all right, you need to make a significant change or things are going to start getting really fucked up. Again, if you keep hearing snorting like a pig, oh, there he goes. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was, if you're going on something like this is the show for you, because I guarantee that you can relate to what I am going through. So it probably was a couple weeks ago, maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago, where I just kind of sat back and, when you're in this stage of gaining weight and, you want to lose weight, you always have that little voice in the back of your head saying, hey, you got to lose weight, fatty. It's just there, no matter what, it's always going to be there nagging you. And you'll do the whole, I'll put it off on Monday. I'll wait until the holidays are over. You start making like mental gymnastics for yourself that avoid you from really facing, your weight. Because it's hard. It's really fucking hard. And I'm somebody who was a gym rat. I love the gym. And it is incredibly hard for me to get back into it. And a couple weeks ago, like I said, I just kind of looked at myself in the mirror and I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. It was a frustration thing where I couldn't. It was too much for me. If I kept doing this, I would hate myself even more. As is, I hate being overweight. You feel like shit. My diet included chips, cookies, sweets, all that garbage that's terrible for you. And I would say, you know what? I could lose it later. I could lose the weight later. It's not that big a deal. What if I just don't eat all day and eat fucking 3,000 calories at night? And and here we are. We're overweight. But I'm not 250 anymore. That actually was 2 years ago, where I kind of stopped Ambien. I told my doctor I can't take it anymore. It fucked me up too much. And I lost 25 pounds or 20 pounds like right away. Right? I lost it over the course of maybe like a month or two, and I was back to 230. I am still 230. I mean, I balance between 220 to 230, but I'm still fat. I'm still out of shape. And some people may be like saying, oh, dude, you carry it well. You're fine. Just tell me I'm fat. I have no problem if we're having an in-depth discussion about like weight loss or fitness, and we're talking, and I like we talk to each other. I'm like, we know each other pretty well, and you're a friend. Dude, just say, dude, you could lose some pounds. You could lose a little weight, I mean, I want you to be healthy, because I'm not healthy. I look not obese. I don't look this. I don't look that, but I'm not healthy. So again, I'm making the change. I started eating right. I'm cutting my calories down. Because again, calorie deficit is the only way you can lose weight, but you can also you have to be healthy about it, because there are unhealthy ways of doing it. It was brought to my attention that there was a doctor who actually lost weight by only eating Debbie products, Little Debbie products. I think they're like kind of like Twinkies and shit. I never really was into that shit, but he only ate those instead of meals, and he lost like 25 pounds. So there are ways of losing weight unhealthy, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm talking to my trainer, and we're making sure that I'm eating right. I got my vegetables, fruits, meats, all that shit. Protein is huge. I was always scared of eating too much protein because I have some kidney shit. Nothing serious, but they always check my kidneys just in case, because I have, from what they said, I have very dense muscles, so I'm jacked as fuck naturally. That I produce more creatine or some bullshit. Creatine and there's protein in my piss. So, there's stuff like that I got to watch out for. But then I realized I talked to my doctor. They said protein's not going to overwork your kidneys. Don't worry, just relax. And I talked to my trainer. Protein's what keeps me from eating. I cannot stress this enough. Protein keeps the hunger away. Because when you're bored, you want to eat, especially if you're like me. Sometimes when I would eat, it would be, I'm not hungry, but I could eat something. I could eat like a bag of chips because I'm bored, and that's just an unhealthy relationship with food. Protein keeps that shit down. Anytime I'm hungry now and I haven't eaten in a while, like maybe like a couple hours, I'll take a protein shake. Protein shake right in my system, I'm done. And when I do eat my meals, throughout the day, I think I try to hit like over 100 grams. Well, definitely over 100 grams. I'm looking at like 120 to 130. Some people say 200. I've heard recommendations about that. I haven't pushed it that far, but I definitely try to get above 100 because that keeps me from eating at night. And locking my door when I go to bed helps too. Because if for me, my kitchen's downstairs. So if I want to, all I have to do is go through my doorway, downstairs, kitchen. If I have that locked door, it kind of is like a mental note, like, hey, dude, the door's locked. Come on, bedtime. Time to stop, cool down, and just get the fuck to bed, which is another thing that I'm working on too. I'm doing a complete revamp of my life. So that's another thing, right? Is sleep. I haven't gone to sleep in the same day that I've woken up in probably almost over 10 years. I wake up at, whatever time between 7 to 12 in the afternoon, and then I go to sleep at 2 to 4 at night in the morning. Like, it's terrible for you, And that fucked me too. That really was a big problem for me. And I'm working on it. I am now able to go to bed at 11 o'clock. That is horrible for some people, great for me. And if you guys don't know, I have this little Oura ring that tracks my sleep and tells me how my sleep is. And over the past couple weeks, my sleep has gotten better. I'm eating better. The relationship with food when you're trying to not be a fat fuck is absurd. You can go to the gym as much as you want. Don't trust me. I go to the gym as much as you want, but just know that going to the gym and then coming home and eating like shit is just gonna not yield results. It won't. It really won't. I've never heard of somebody getting the results they want by eating like shit and then working out like a fiend. Unless you're like Eddie Hall, who consumed 10,000 calories and he's just my fucking hero. Like, the guy eats whatever he wants and was just jacked as fuck. To be fair, was he unhealthy? Probably. But that guy was a monster. And we all know Eddie Hall was a monster. And, this is a good, I don't know if this is like a blog or is it a podcast? Like, this is so hard to say. Like, I can't tell. Like, should I change the fucking title of this show? Maybe I'll call it Stop Being a Fat Fuck. And, one other thing. What I did was come up with a mantra, right? Come up with a mantra for yourself. And I've done it in the past, but they've always been like unoriginal. And it's like, you're awesome. Kill it, kill it, kill it. Which isn't bad. If that works for you, works for you. Mine that I came up with recently, and it's been helping me a lot, and people probably look at it like you're dumb. It's fuck it, or fuck you, try harder. I woke up this morning and I immediately craved sugar. I immediately craved dog shit. And I was really upset because I woke up, and right when I woke up, I went to the pantry, grabbed 3 Oreos, grabbed a little thing of Pringles, and ate it for breakfast. I hated every second after I finished the food because I succumbed to the cravings. So in my head, this is something that people do a lot with dieting. In my head, I said, I fucked up my diet today. I can go eat whatever I want. And then the little mantra comes up, right? The little thing in my head, fuck you, try harder. You fucked up. Great, whatever. At the end of the day, you can recover. So I sat back, I sat down, I was still really tired. I looked at the TV, I was watching King of the Hill because it's a great show. And I start talking to myself a little bit because Steph's not home. My girlfriend, she's not home. And I'm going, dude, fuck you. Try harder. You are fine. Just recover. You can do this. Stop being a little bitch. Stop crying about it. Stop being a little pussy and saying, oh, I hate this. Just focus up. Slap yourself, focus the fuck up. And you know what I did? I relaxed. I waited a little while, grabbed the protein shake, drank my protein shake, right back on track. I was feeling like shit. That food that was in me that I haven't eaten in a while was just sitting in my stomach. I was feeling like depressed. I could already immediately see the shitty effects of this food that I've eaten for years. And I was like, I don't want to do anything. I hate my life. It was raining outside. I live in Jersey, so the rain was just fucking with me. And I'm like, I hate everything. Fuck you, try harder. I said, all right, I'm going to grab my bike. We're going to go for a long ass bike ride. Like we're going for it started off as, okay, we're going to go for a bike ride, right? So I grab my bike, we go for a bike ride. And once all of a sudden the clouds start to go away and it's sunny and you see like that after rain effect, like everything kind of looks pretty with the sun glistening off of it and the trees and, you know, the puddles. It reminds you of when you were a kid and jumping around in them. If you were like me, I know some people didn't live the same life I did. I mean, my girlfriend never even climbed a fucking tree, which is wild to me because climbing trees was my favorite thing. I'm talking tall motherfuckers, not little baby trees, like tall, like ones that sway in the wind. But back to what I was saying, I started to go through the bike ride and the clouds started to part and the sun started to shine and it felt great. And I started to come to the realization that I have been blaming my bipolar, my mental illness, on everything. I was diagnosed with bipolar, and I've talked about it before on the podcast, so you guys fucking know if you've seen it. If you haven't, go watch the other podcasts and subscribe, you fuck. When I was diagnosed bipolar, I was 19 years old. And after talking to my therapist, if you hear whatever behind me is my bearded dragon, he's spazzing because he hears the crickets that I just got him. What I was talking to my therapist about recently was that I was at a point in my life where I was trying to find my identity and I didn't know who I was. So when I was diagnosed bipolar, I kind of attached to it and said, oh, look at that. That's who I am. I am bipolar. I am the up, down, left, right motherfucker. You never know what I'm going to do next. You don't know if I'm going to be manic. You don't know if I'm going to be depressed. Anything I ever do, it's because I'm depressed. Anything I ever do, it's because I'm manic. There's no responsibility. It's just I am bipolar. So when I was on this bike ride, and I've been talking about this for the past couple weeks with my therapist about how I'm trying to step away from the identity of bipolar. Just know that I have it, obviously take care of it, but I am not bipolar. Like I am not, like that's not my identity. It has been great since then. And when I was on the bike ride and I started to really push hard and I'm seeing the effects of my hard work for the past couple weeks because things are getting a little easier, like going to the gym's easier, going on my bike rides easier. And combine that with the beautiful scenery because I live in a very wooded area. So I look around and I'm like, for me at least, and this isn't for everybody, this is case by case obviously, but for me, mental illness, for my case, is not an excuse anymore. I can't keep blaming my bipolar for everything. I can't. It is so toxic. And if you're in the same boat as me and you blame it for everything, listen, I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't or should, but I blamed a lot of my life just being bipolar. And it is toxic because it's an excuse. It's an excuse. And at the end of the day, the world doesn't give a fuck about excuses. Somebody told me recently, there are people who will care about you, right? There are people who care about you, but the world doesn't give a fuck about your mental illness. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that in a super harsh way. People will feel bad for you. People will pity you. People will try to help you. But in the grand scheme of things, you need to take control. You're the person who needs to buckle down, get help, and then stop blaming it. You know, again, I might just be talking for myself. I'm not trying to cause any drama or whatever, but for me, blaming my bipolar was my biggest crutch. Now, did my bipolar help me out in a lot of ways? Yeah, I mean, I used it to my advantage sometimes. My manic episodes, when I was in them, I would do a lot of creative stuff. I'd be really good with writing. I'd be really good with production with my videos and stuff. depression, I was a little creative, but, you know, I was in my bed for a couple weeks or whatever. Like, you wouldn't do anything, you know? But I am not bipolar as an identity. And that's gone. And when I was on my bike ride, I don't know why this bike ride was so, like, mystical, but when I was on my bike ride, that hit so hard because it's true. I have an identity. I am finding it every day a little bit more. But I have to know, and this goes for some, like I said, some people, if you're in the same boat as me, know that you are not your mental illness. You are not schizophrenic in the sense of that's your identity. If you're schizophrenic, you're schizophrenic. But I mean, like, that's not your identity. Like, that's not who you are as a person. Like, there's a person underneath this shit that you're saying. And I feel like I'm talking about some controversial shit. I feel like some people may take this the total wrong way, but I'm trying to word it as best as possible. It's a crutch sometimes. Let's just put it like that, you know? And this relates to my eating too. I would get depressed and I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm in a depressed state. I can eat whatever I want. Or I'm manic, you know? I could fucking go drink for fucking 4 nights straight. Get this shit going. Fucking let's go, bro! That was a little too intense right there. But that's what I mean. I would just... anything I did that was negative towards myself, it wasn't me, it was the bipolar. But I am bipolar, you know? I am the bipolar. And then to step back and you're like, all right, you're not. That's not your identity. Take responsibility, dude. Stop eating like shit. Come up with a plan. Because you might have it against you, but come up with a fucking plan then. And I did. I came up with a great plan and I talked it out with some people who I wanted to make sure that the plan would work. They told me it sounded great. I got some opportunities. I took advantage of them. And I'm in the process of completely changing my life. And the results are there. The results are there. And it is insane how the results are there. I am beyond happy with how this is going because my life is starting to feel better. I'm not waking up feeling like shit every day. I don't wake up and I'm like, I'm tired or I have to go to the bathroom because my stomach hurts or I'm eating like shit. Like, I'm telling you, this is a life-changing thing that I'm going through and it feels great. And back to the bike ride. One of my favorite things today during the bike ride was I would say, like childhood nostalgia. I was going through a bike path, right? That goes through town. Beautiful. If you want to see what it looks like, there's the picture on my Manic Mind podcast Instagram. Go follow that too. And you can see the lake. It's beautiful, right? But then if you want to keep going, there's like giant puddles because of the rain. I shit you not. I went so fast into those puddles, mud all over me. I felt like a kid, dude. I felt new. I felt revitalized. It was awesome. I went through like 30 puddles and you see walkers just walking around them. You see people just like looking at me. I'm covered in fucking mud head to toe. My hands are covered. My bike is a mess, but it felt great. It felt like I was so, you know, like when you were a kid and you were ignorant and you were innocent. I guess innocent's a little bit better of a word. Like the world is just perfect and rainbows and sunshine when you're a kid. Everything, you know, you haven't been exposed to how shitty the world can be. But on the opposite end, like I always say, there's always the beautiful part of the world. But when you're a kid, it's mostly beautiful. Like you get to go outside and you see all these like you could do anything when you go outside. When you go outside, you see trees, you climb them, or you see rocks. You have a rock fight with your friends. I don't know if I'm just crazy or did that, but that's what I mean. I felt like an innocent kid again, where the world was just perfect. And I loved it. And it showed me that I can have that. I can do that. That is something that I can generate inside my brain if I do the right things. If I eat right, if I sleep right, if I work out, and then I do these walks or hikes or do something fun like go to yestercades and do all the... I can't believe I got that feeling again. That feeling, I still feel it. I still feel great from it. I'm energized. And it's not from some bullshit medical standpoint of manic or depressed or blah, blah, blah. It's my own doing. So I touch base on this in the podcast at the end of the Carlos Perez one, which is coming out either tomorrow or... Did this thing shut off? Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Sorry, the whole computer just went off for some reason. It's either going to come out tomorrow or maybe Monday. I'd like to get it out. But I talk about it a little bit, not too in depth. We get to it at the end of the podcast because Carlos is kind of going through the same thing I am. But one thing I want to end on here is if you want to make a significant change in your life, come up with a plan and be committed to it. If you fuck up, move on. If you fuck up, try harder. Now, I'm not going to say, fuck you, try harder. But you could tell yourself, fuck you, try harder. Just because you mess up a little bit doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Like, I fucked up this morning, but I had a great day, and I ended it with this amazing feeling that I can conquer the world, and the world is just perfect. So, at the end of the day, try to do better by yourself. Try to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because if you're not, nothing's going to change. You know what I mean? Eat healthier, work out, spend time with family and friends, and fucking kill it. And I gotta stop. Another thing is I have to stop repeating my words. I do that often. I'm working on it. As you could see in my past podcasts, I'm getting better. But at the end of the day, I just said it again. You can do it. Anyone can do it. You are not defined by a mental illness if you have one. You are not defined by that. And even if you don't have one, you're not defined by one thing. Figure out who you are, find your strengths, and just fucking run away with them and try to enjoy it. Find happiness in this life, man. You only get one, and it is a cliche to say, but after today, it really feels great knowing that I can get that feeling back. All right. Thank you guys for watching this. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the fucking channel. I see how many of you aren't subscribed. Subscribe. All right? Thank you. And go follow the Manic Mind Podcast on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter, 56 Danny Snyder. I'll link that all that bullshit in the description. Thank you guys again for coming out and watching this episode of the Manic Mind mini show. I will catch you guys next time, and stay fresh as fuck. Later.